Hey everybody, it's Stacy Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource, and I'm over at my rental property about to hand it over to some new tenants, but I wanted to go through and show y'all some of the quick updates that we did that made a huge impact and definitely made this rent faster and would make it sell faster if we were in the market to sell. I'll try to put in a picture of what this kitchen looked like before as far as the cabinets, and it wasn't in the budget for us to replace the entire kitchen, and I thought, well, I want to do some updates. So number one is getting rid of that recessed 1980s light box. It made a huge difference. And then we put in, it's hard to see, and we put in 4 recessed lights, and my husband put those in. He's an electrical engineer, so he has the skills needed, and it was not an easy thing to do, but he did that, and it looks fantastic. We had the entire thing textured. He put up a awesome chandelier that honestly, I just got on Amazon, guys, but it looks really nice, kind of for like a modern farmhouse vibe. But we painted the bottom cabinets blue to try to work with the honey-colored oak floors. Upper cabinets are white, a basic white, larger scale subway backsplash over here on the back side. And then some of the frost pattern quartz countertops. We already had a lot of stainless appliances. We put in the black faucet. And honestly, the whole kitchen with countertops and everything, I think was maybe $7,000. I'd have to go back and look because we did this about a year ago. But for updating a massive kitchen, guys, that made a huge difference and made our property rent so much faster. And if we were going to sell it, I would totally do it again because I think it was a really good use of the money. And we should have covered the floors because our contractors didn't do the best job. Lesson learned there. But they were really rough. And so I actually got all of the paint and all of the drywall and everything off just by scrubbing them. And then I used a floor restore. I used a Bona high gloss floor restore. And so the high gloss, from what I've heard and with my feedback and my clients, tends to give a better result, but depending on your finish of floor, that might not look as well. But these are after our tenants have been in the house for a year and cleaned the floors. And honestly, I was worried I was going to have to redo it, but it's actually still in really good shape. So if you have wood floors that you're worried about look really dull or have lots of dog scratches or things like that, and it's not in the budget to refinish or replace them, then definitely consider doing a floor restore product. I know, I think Restore Finish makes one. I like the Bona one for the high gloss, but there's a handful out there. They're definitely worth the money. Okay, so another tip is to update your lighting. So I've talked about this in almost all of my update videos. I'm a huge fan of updating your light fixtures because it makes a huge difference. So here's just an example. The house is original 1983 when we bought it, I guess about 7 years ago. And you can see that, okay, there's a lot of original wood and everything, sure. But the light fixtures were the original like brass and frosted flower glass type fixtures that are really dated. I found these at Habitat for Humanity Restore. So if you have one of those near you, check it out. It's essentially the Ark or the Goodwill of home supplies like appliances and furniture and faucets and lights and things like that. And both of these together were $100. And then I probably spent another $100 or so on alabaster globes. So they all match and they all look really nice. And then my husband hung them up, which was awesome because I don't know what it would have cost to pay somebody to hang these up. But it makes a huge difference in impact in the entire room. So lighting throughout the house, we did recessed lights in bedrooms. We did the hallway light. A few $100s here and there can make a huge difference in the look of the house between paint and light fixtures. Another update that we did in this house was the flooring in the bathroom. So this is the master bathroom, and it's hard for me to get far enough away, but it is a massive bathroom. This thing is larger than most bedrooms in houses that I sell. So, and it had carpet. The carpet that is around the tub was carpeted throughout the entire bathroom. And I thought, I'm going to have tenants in this house. Nobody really likes carpet in the bathroom. A lot of people absolutely despise carpet in the bathroom. So this was my first time doing LVP. I did this a year ago before we rented out the property. And honestly, guys, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. There's a little bit of a learning curve with the cutting tools. And please stagger your seams, okay? Probably the worst install jobs that I see on LVP floors on a regular basis where I can totally tell that they are DIY and not that great is around the edges and how they do the seams. So if you line up your seams, it looks a little off. That's kind of not the point of LVP. For a wood look tile, a lot of times it makes sense, but not on LVP. I cut this really, really close and then caulked around the corners because I'm a bit of a perfectionist on some things, and yeah, I'm particular about that, and I didn't want to do quarter round all the way around, especially when I'm right up against closet doors and things like that. Most time installers will do quarter round, or they'll pull off the baseboard and slide it underneath. Since I was doing this myself and it was a project and it was a learning opportunity for me, I was really happy with how well it turned out. But LVP, I'm a huge fan of, guys. It is one of the best bang for the buck flooring improvements. The stuff's pretty much bulletproof. It's great for dogs, great for kids. A lot of them are waterproof, so definitely check that out. I think this was a Cortec brand flooring. I got it from Floor & Decor. Honestly, I think this was like $1.50 a square foot. It was less than $2 a square foot, I know that. As far as the purchase cost. The trim pieces are really expensive, so if you need a lot of transition or trim pieces, those get pretty pricey. Also check Restore for those. So when I was at Habitat, and Bud's Warehouse here in Denver over off 225 in Mississippi, they have a lot of good stuff like that too. But they'll have those transition strips sometimes, and they're not exactly color matched. They're just pretty close, even from Floor & Decor. So a lot of times you can save a lot of money because those transition strips are going to be 25, 30 bucks a piece for an 8-foot piece, but from a Restore place, they might be $5, $6, $7, $8. So if you have a lot of transition strip to do, definitely check that out. Otherwise, it's probably not worth the extra trip to save 20 bucks. But just one of my great bang for the buck floorings, especially if you're doing some DIY stuff, it really, really makes a huge difference. Just another example of ripping out a light box from 1980s. So this had a massive, it was probably at least a foot deep, maybe 10 inches deep, giant light box that had fluorescent lights inside with the plexi on the bottom that was yellowing and looked really bad and always had dead moths in it. And another one of those things, I don't know why we waited till we left to do it because everybody does it and realtors are not exempted from that either. But we removed the light box. I actually ended up using that trimmed out wood in a different project over at our new house. I built some mudroom jacket hang like hooks for a jacket rack mudroom area with that trim piece. But we had all of this retextured with my paint guys did that, and then painted when we repainted everything. And then a couple of 3-bar light fixtures. We put in the 3-bar just because of the centering on the holes and we weren't sure exactly how it was gonna line up. Ideally, if you pick your light fixtures before you have your wall texture done, then you have a little bit more flexibility in your fixtures. And even though we haven't done the countertops and the cabinets, these are what the original kitchen cabinets look like, by the way, before I painted them. And this is lower vanity. So when it comes time to updating the whole bathroom, we'll take out this whole vanity. And depending on how I end the updates, we might, do some changes with the tub and the shower and all that kind of stuff. If we want to do some lower end updates, it would really be just taking out this vanity. I kept some extra of this flooring in case I needed to redo the section, depending on the new vanity and new mirror and that kind of stuff. But for a massive bathroom, bigger rooms cost more to redo. So just another example of removing the light bar can make such a huge difference in the entire room and really, really open it up and make it feel a lot less dated. Talking about changing out light fixtures, I know I showed y'all the chandeliers, but my husband right now is working on a couple of fans. So you can see up in the master bedroom that has a vaulted ceiling, and then that actually has a cathedral ceiling. And then in the living room, it's a 2-story ceiling. So changing the fan becomes an ordeal, as well as the lights over there that were inevitably burned out. The fan in this room finally died, so we bought the fans to swap them out with other ones, but not many people have a 16-foot ladder. So just because you can't reach it, so let's say you know how to replace a fan or a light fixture, but you can't get to it, look at renting the tools. So we actually rented this ladder after tax. It was like $54 for a 1-day rental. So yeah, my husband had to go pick it up. Because a lot of times the delivery and the pickup is the expensive part. But if you have a truck or you want to rent a truck from Home Depot, a lot of times you can rent a tool to swap something out and save a bunch of money that way too. So another thing that's just good maintenance to do that a lot of people don't do, and then inspectors point it out and it becomes a bigger deal than it really is keeping your seams and windows and showers and tubs and everything caulked and really nice and maintained. So we had this countertop done. I think I mentioned right at a year ago. We had some tenants move in right away. And then of course, as things, go through different seasons and have shifted a little bit, there is just some areas that need a quick beat of caulk for maintenance. So I want to do it just to make sure that everything stays protected. I also need to do it around shower areas that I noticed upstairs where we had some stuff done. Some of it I did a year ago and it's fine now. But doing little things like that and keeping it up, especially when you go to sell, Not only will it keep things protected and make sure you don't get like water under your subfloors if it's right outside of a tub or a shower, but it also will show the inspector. When inspectors see things like that, they're like, I see things that make me think this home was really, really cared for and really well maintained. So little bitty details like that can make a huge impression to an educated buyer, an educated realtor, and definitely an inspector.